this is Nerd of Steel here. Today we're going to be talking about the Valiant universe. Today I have guest star with me, and he's from the Monumental Entertainment page, Adam Shirley. Hey Adam, what's up?
How's it going, man? How's it going?
Cool.
Good to see you.
Yeah, great to have you on the show.
On this stuff.
So today what we're going to be talking about is one of these books. Yeah, it's going to be the new Valiant universe. We're going to be talking about one of the first volumes of them.
Okay, how first, could you tell me how really this has changed since the old... I mean, I hadn't read a lot of it anyways, but...
Yeah. Well, as you probably know, during the 90s, around the mid-90s, Valiant was bought out by Acclaimed, and then they went bankrupt. But recently, they rebooted the series. In the old Valiant universe, it was all about story, the family life, so on and so forth. And in the new Valiant universe, it's a lot about action. It's still very much like old Valiant, but more action or, intense oriented. So today we're going to be talking about this right here. What exactly is it?
Oh, this is Shadow Man. I've had a chance to skim through this at stores before, but I never really got a chance to read it. One thing I did notice on one of these pages, you won't be able to see it unless you look at it. Actually, look at the comic. But right here is actually the original Shadow Man mask.
Yeah.
Which is quite interesting. I hadn't read a lot of it, but I do know what Shadow Man used to look like. He used to have long hair, now he's changed to crazy, awesome looking guy.
In the old Valiant universe, Shadow Man, he was a saxophone player who was attacked by a monster at the night and ended up developing the powers somehow. But it's later explained that he was turned into the Shadow Man by voodoo magic and so on and so forth, and the powers actually instilled in the mask. In the new Valiant universe, Shadow Man is kind of like a heritage thing. It's passed down from father to son.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
We got something similar like that going on in Monumental Entertainment at the moment, just in the process, but really, so it's heritage now? It's like lineage style thing, man?
Oh, yeah, and it's more of a... Like, the old one was dark and grim, but this one's more horror story oriented, dealing much more with
creatures, for sure.
Well, monsters and after death. So, what exactly is it about Shadow Man that you'd like to know?
Where do I start? Well, it's lineage in this. In the old one, it was more like you said, voodoo, right? Yeah. It just kind of happened. So how is the difference in this one and the first one really? Like if you compare the first two #1 issues of Shadow Man, have you read the first one in the old Valiant as well?
Yeah. Well, I haven't read the origin of Shadow Man as far as the first issue, but I know what happens.
Yeah.
I know exactly how it starts.
Yeah. So how does it differ, like in a major way? Like,
well, here's one of the major things. Jack isn't necessarily alone like he was in the original comic. In the original comic, he was kind of like Spider-Man in the sense he was always talking to himself, so on and so forth. In this one, he has a couple of people kind of like mentors helping him out.
Yeah.
He's a young adult instead of a full adult. In the old Valiant universe, he was actually introduced in Exo Manowar, issue #5, I believe.
Really?
Yeah. And from there, he ended up getting his own comic book series, appearing later on in Unity and so on and so forth. Man. In the new Valiant universe, Shadow Man pretty much gets attacked by darkness like he did in the original comic. And once he gets attacked by darkness, the Loa, or whatever, the thing that makes him Shadow Man, appears and then takes over, and then he becomes Shadow Man, destroying those things practically, and finding out he's Shadow Man.
Wow. So in the original, on the old Valiant universe, was it an actual literal mask?
It was a literal mask that he wore, and it didn't transform him or anything.
This one doesn't really look like it's a mask.
No. In this one, it's more like dark power came over him, like when you stand in the shadows, you have like a shadow over you, you're dark, and so on and so forth. Well, it's kind of like that, but he could be standing in the light, and it's still all over him. He's all black and has the the Shadow Man mask thing.
Does the brightness and the darkness affect him in this one like it did in the old one?
Well, yeah, in the old Valiant universe, when it's daytime, he's not necessarily Shadow Man, he's Jack Boniface, and at nighttime, it kind of makes him, he's not Shadow Man, he's still Jack Boniface, it's just he has a sense of right in this, like he goes after dark things, but he also has no fear. He has no fear, and he gets all the powers of the Shadow Man, in a sense, over time. But at first, it's just he has no fear and wants to kill evil.
Wow.
Yeah, in the new Valiant universe, he gets all kinds of powers. It's just, like, there's no restrictions when it comes to powers. He gets the ability to control the dead, teleport between live side and dead side. He gets a scythe. He gets all kinds of stuff. He literally transforms his appearance in the old one. He was just wearing a costume, you know.
Yeah.
But that's pretty much what goes on in this.
What's your favorite thing about new Shadow Man?
Oh, dude. I like the fact that they gave him powers. I mean, I really, really love that. And, like, he's so overpowered when it comes to what his power is. He could take on people like Ghost Rider or whatnot, no problem, because that's what his power is, practically. He can... I don't know if I got this exactly correct, but he can actually absorb darkness in a sense. He becomes not immortal, but he can take a lot more damage and regenerate. He can teleport. He can do all kinds of crazy stuff.
So in the original one, he was just a guy, a normal guy that put on a mask.
Yeah, that's literally it. He was just a guy, and that
he got bit by a voodoo thingy.
Well, he was attacked by a monster at night, but that was all set up. That monster didn't do jack squat. They just kind of gave him the mask. Because his ancestor was also a Shadow Man as well. But,
man,
you know.
Wow.
Anyway, Shadow Man, it's a great comic. I really like it.
Is it one you would suggest people read?
Oh, yeah. It's not... I'm not going to lie. It's not the best new Valiant comic book out there. Mainly because it's secluded, it's to itself, it's not connected with the other ones. But it is an amazing read, really good, dark fiction. I would suggest you read it. It's a 4 out of 5. This is Shadow Man, and thank you for coming to the show.
No problem, anytime, man, anytime.
That's all for us today. Nerd Steel signing out.